Discussions in this show should not be construed as specific recommendations or investment advice. Always consult with your investment professional before making important investment decisions. And now, Financial Renaissance with the M's.
And we are back with Emma Knows Money. This segment of Emma Knows Money is brought to you by Greenwood Wealth Management, making Wall Street work harder for you. So here are 8 questions that you need to ask when you're choosing a CPA or a tax accountant or tax professional. You want to find out whether or not this person who is preparing your taxes have what is called a PTIN or a PTIN. And what that is a preparer tax identification number, which is assigned by the IRS. And it is required for anyone who prepares or assists in preparing federal taxes for compensation. So what you can do is go to cpaverify.org, which is a free CPA lookup tool, and you can verify the status of the tax professional that you're looking at dealing with. Then, does your CPA, what type of license do they have? So there's the 3 type of licenses that a tax professional should have that you're looking at working with. So one should be a CPA. The second should be an EA, which is an enrolled agent. And the third can be a tax attorney. Okay, so the CPA, as I mentioned earlier, is the highest level of accountant, and it is a tax advisor who's passed an exam, CPA exam, and they met a whole bunch of work experience requirements that's required by the state. Now, a reputable CPA maintains the highest standard of knowledge and ethics. They also have to have ongoing education, continuing education. So CPAs can be auditors, business advisors, decision makers, and tax consultants, okay? Now, an enrolled agent is a tax practitioner who's licensed at the federal level. And again, a tax accountant, CPA, and an enrolled agent can sit with you if there is a situation and you're being audited by the IRS. Now, a tax attorney holds a law degree, okay? And tax attorneys specialize in the legal side of tax preparation. So you're going to want to have one of these people if you're doing, if you're looking at transferring wealth. So from trusts and estates and things of that nature. Or if you already have a letter from Uncle Sam, then you definitely want to get a tax attorney, because tax attorneys can stop the IRS from garnishing your wages or imposing levies, and they're especially skilled at negotiating compromises with the IRS. Another question you want to find out is whether or not your CPA or tax accountant is a member of any professional organization. So the IRS Pro Association's partner page lists some of the top organizations that CPAs should be listed with. So you'll want to go on their website and take a look at that and figure out, because typically if you're part of an organization, there are people that know you and, you know, you should be in good standing. So they say. Then another question you want to ask a CPA or a tax person is how much do they charge? Now, the National Society of Accountants released the national average for a professional to prepare and submit taxes. So for a regular 1040 form, we're looking at about $175. For a Schedule A, $275. For a Schedule C, about $460. And so if you have if you have a partnership, a S corporation, a regular corporation, each one of those requires a different tax form. And depending on where you live, the size of the company that you're working with, the population in the area, the economic strength of the area, those are all determining factors of what's going to happen with how much you're going to pay in taxes. Now, they may charge you a fixed fee for each tax form. They may charge a fee based on the previous year's fee. If there's any additional changes, you know, like marriage, children, divorce, buying a new house, retiring, etc., that fee could go up and or down. Then they may charge a minimum fixed base fee, and again, determining on the complexity of your exact tax situation. Then they may do value-based fees. They may do an hourly fee, and again, they may just do a fixed fee just for plain and simple data entry. Now, you want to ask your CPA or your tax person, how do they handle document transfer? Again, we're in an era now where, you know, identity theft is a big thing, and there are also other countries who are at war with us from a cyber standpoint. So you want to make sure that the documents that you have don't get into the wrong hands, because all of your personal information are on these documents. So they should do things like mail, you know, whether it's snail mail, the United States Post Office, office, FedEx, or one of those things, or even a courier service. They may even email. But again, in this day and age, the email should be encrypted, both sides, from you to them, from them to you, etc. And then another thing that a lot of accountants I know are doing is a secured online portal. And usually it's encrypted 300 or 256 bit. You upload your documents, it's encrypted. When it comes back down, it's encrypted as well. So you want to make sure that they have the ability to encrypt and store your documents securely. Another thing that most tax preparers should have is an electronic filing identification number. And the IRS assigns this number, a EFIN, to firms or sole proprietors who complete an application and pass suitability assessment, to become an authorized IRS e-filer provider. So you have to ask your tax person whether or not they have the ability to e-file. Now, here's the most important question of complexity. If you are, working at McDonald's, or you've got, a regular W-2 job, you may be able to do your taxes yourself. Being audited may not be a big deal. But once your tax returns in your life and the way you earn incomes becomes a little bit more complex, you want to make sure that that person that's doing your tax returns gets to sit right there with you, because they're kind of on the hook with you just as well. And then the last thing, one of the things that I'd say, and it's not even really a question, it's just more of a warning, the person that's doing your taxes should also not be paying your bills, okay? You want to make sure you keep those things separate. It's okay for a bookkeeper to work for the same CPA firm. That's fine. Actually, that's advisable. My lawyer told me to make sure that that happens. If the bookkeeper makes a mistake, the CPA firm is on the hook. But you want to make sure that these people are not paying your bills. That needs to be someone separate. If it's not yourself, it needs to be someone completely separate from the CPA or the people that are doing your books and that are also filing your tax returns. There has to be a checks and balances. So somebody has to be able to come in and make sure that the numbers that they're putting in front of you are actually correct. And the last thing that you should do as a professional person is just really understand what's going on with the tax law. There's tons of CPAs out there, but there's different types. There's certain CPAs that are only going to look at what you hand them. Okay, so if you hand them your documents, they're going to prepare your taxes and then they're going to send you on your way. But what you want to find is someone who is not just going to be looking in the rear view mirror, looking at what happened last year. You want to find someone that's going to be paying attention to what's happening this coming year and years going forward that can talk to you about that stuff. And those are my tips on how to find the best CPA or tax person for you for 2020.
Scratch, green. Benjamins, assets, income.